Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and styrene addicts of all ages. How are you today? I'm fine, thanks. Oh, seriously, guys. I've been working on this thing this morning, and I'm just thinking to myself, what in the heck did I get myself involved in? No, not the 32 appreciation build as a whole, just chopping this top. I have a confession to make. This is my first chop top. No. Well, yes, this is the first time I've ever chopped a top on purpose. Anyway, excuse me. It's probably a little bit non-conventional. You know, normally when you chop a top, you chop the pillars, you do a cross cut in a roof, you move things forward and backwards, glue into place, backfill everything. Well, I've made an extra cut up here because when I went to put everything back in place, I got a little bit wonky. So I decided to cut up here and get this to move forward so I can get that aligned a little bit better. And then glue everything back into place. Now the B pillars are still a little bit wonky, and I'm not really sure why, because when everything started out, the B pillars were perfect. But we'll figure that out. We'll fill them in, and we'll get them set right. So the back door is gone. I filled that in. You'll recall I filled it in with styrene rod, glued into place, sanded down, and you could probably see the shadow lines of the back door remain. And that's cool because they can be puttied, and I can finish it off that way. You'll also notice that the body line is gone. That was an accident. I was doing a really good job avoiding that and being really careful to preserve this line. But I got a little bit overzealous with the sanding, and I guess I was sanding over it and didn't realize it. And when I was done, I looked and it was gone. And I was like, well, I'm going to remove the rest of it and we will correct it later. So I have this oops, that's okay. It's not going to damage that thing. I've got this 1.6 millimeter rod, which is just a little bit too fat for that. And I ended up purchasing this 0.64 millimeter rod, which is a little too skinny. But my thought process was, if I put two of them together across the back and fill them in, putty them in, and then sand and shape them, it might work. We'll have to see. If not, I'll be going to the local hobby shop who could use my business, and I will get the appropriate size rod. And I also believe they have half round rods, so that would actually be perfect for this. You'll also notice the what I refer to as the gun slot rear window. Now that was not on purpose. That was not even, in my thoughts. It was just a product of circumstance, I guess you could say. But I kind of like it. I think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to leave it. And obviously you'll see, it needs some more putty work. It needs some more sanding. But it's definitely chopped. You can definitely tell the difference between, the stock body configuration and what it looks like now. And I dig it. I think it looks cool. You'll also recall yesterday I talked about gluing in the windshield frame. And I did that and did the chop, and it worked out pretty good. However, when I put the roof back on, the windshield opening closed up with the frame in it. And in the center of the windshield, there was almost zero visibility. And it only left two triangular openings on either side. And I was like, that looks kind of ridiculous. So I ended up cutting it back out. And the decision is that if I need a window frame, I will fabricate one. But being that all the glass in this thing has to be custom, I don't think I'm going to need a window frame. So speaking of putty, I had to go to Hobby Lobby last night for some sanding sticks. So while I was standing there, I was looking at the Milliput. And like I told you guys yesterday, I'm allergic to the Tamiya putty, and I'm allergic to Bondo. So I ended up picking up the Milliput. And it's that two-part stuff. You knead it together until it's a uniform color, and then you use it. I find it a little bit hard to work with, but once you get it where you want it and you shape it the way you want it, the stuff sets up rock hard. And it's sandable, machinable, drillable, and all that good stuff. Kind of like JB Weld. But all the gaps are filled with that, and I think it's pretty good. It's solid. It's really, really solid. Now, when I filled in the roof here, I used the 1.6 millimeter styrene rod. It slid right in there. I glued it into place, sanded it, and everything, and it's working out pretty good. It's made it really solid up there. And I could have used styrene sheet, but I chose the rod because it was perfectly sized just for that gap. So. Now, here's the funny thing. I'm allergic to Bondo body filler, okay? But I am not allergic to Bondo spot putty, which doesn't make sense. I don't know if there's something in the body filler and not in the spot putty that I'm allergic to, or what it is, but the spot putty I am not allergic to. It's just the body filler that I'm allergic to. So I think later on today sometime I'm going to go ahead and grab some spot putty, and I'm going to use that to do the rest of my small stuff. Because this stuff here, I don't want to have to break off a big chunk, knead it, and then put it in here. If you ever worked with it, you know it's kind of cumbersome to do that, and you're not going to get the fine details that you want. And I want to try to use the spot putty. I think it'd be easier to sand the details and make the corrections that I need. But that's about it, guys. I don't think it's too bad, you know, for my first chop. I don't think it's too bad. I've seen a whole lot worse, believe me. And some of you guys that chop tops on a regular basis, you know, I know you'll offer me some advice for the next time, which is great. I definitely won't shun advice. That's what this community is about, right? Lifting each other up, helping each other get better. And that's why I love this community. That's why I love this hobby. And speaking of which, there's a channel I want you guys to go check out. I think it's pretty cool. It's a smaller channel. He's only got 16 subs. He does some cool hot rods and drag cars. It's called Model Car Madness. I will leave a link in the description, and I ask you guys to go over there and check him out. Give him some love, like you guys have done for me. You know, I appreciate all the subs. I appreciate all the likes, the comments, everything. I appreciate everybody in this hobby. We all stick together. That's what we got to do. So anyway, guys, that's all I got on this update. And hopefully the next time that I bring you an update, we got a little bit more progress on this. And it starts looking like a car. So again, like, subscribe, share, comment, critique. Tell all your friends and family. And keep on watching, because I'm going to keep on building. See ya.